Alright, I am going to walk you through in this video how to make a loan calculator. So as you can see, some of my headings here are in red and some are in black. I did that on purpose because the ones that are in black I'm just going to enter values for. The ones that are in red we're actually going to come up with calculations so that as I enter in values for these items in black, it will automatically calculate the items that are in red. So take a minute, pause the video, and enter in your headings. Make sure they're just set up just like mine. And then when you're ready, just start the video again and I'll walk you through it. So the first thing I want to do to make this easy to read, you don't have to do this, but it's nice formatting. I want to click and drag here and make some borders. I have really bad eyesight and it makes it easier for me to see what's going on here. I'm going to choose all borders. Let's see. So the list price. So because this is in black, this is something that we're just going to enter. So let's assume that the list price for a home is $100,000. So I'm going to enter that value in. Now I want this to be formatted as money. So I'm going to highlight that box. I'm going to come up to Format. I'm going to click on Cells. And I want to choose Currency. I want it in dollars, and we'll do 2 decimal places for dollars and cents. I'm going to hit OK. And now that sees that cell is a dollar amount. Now for down payment, this is going to be, for this first box here, this is going to be a percentage. So I want to format this cell as a percentage. So I highlight that cell. I come up here to Format. I click on Cells, and I click Percentage. It seems like the default is 2 decimal places, which is perfectly fine, so I'll leave it like that, and I'm going to hit OK. So that means when I enter something into that cell now, it's going to be written as a percent. So let's say I want to do a 15% down payment. I put 15 in there, and it automatically changes it as a percentage. Now, for the amount of the down payment, when I find a percentage of the list price to see how much I'm going to put down for my down payment, that's multiplication. So I'm going to take this value here, the list price, times the percentage for my down payment. We're going to set up a formula for that. So I highlight my box. I'm going to hit equals. I want to take this amount here. I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm going to do times, which is the little star above your 8 button. Times, and then I'm going to choose down payment. Enter that, and then hit enter. So my down payment would be $15,000 if the list price was $100,000 and the down payment percentage was 15. Now, because I've set it up based on these 2 cells and not those specific amounts, if I change it, it will automatically change the down payment amount. So let's say I want to do a 20% down payment. If I go in and change that to 20%, we'll automatically adjust the down payment value in this box here. So instead of being $15,000 as a down payment, it's now $20,000. So now the mortgage amount is going to be the list price, and you take off the down payment. So I'm going to highlight the mortgage amount box. I'm going to hit equals. I'm going to take this minus the down payment. That's going to be how much the mortgage amount should be. So again, if I change this back to 15%, it should automatically adjust since we're basing it on the cells and not those specific values. So now it's made its adjustment. The annual rate is something that we'll enter in, and that's going to be in percent form. So I want to make sure I format that cell as a percent. So I'm going to highlight that box. I'm going to come up to Format Cell, and I'm going to click on Percentage, and I'll just leave it as the default as 2 decimal places. Click OK. So now if I put in the annual rate for the mortgage is, say, 5%, I put in 5 and it automatically puts it into the percent. Years will be something that we put in. Let's say we want a 20-year mortgage. I'll just enter in 20 years. The number of periods would be the number of payments, assuming that you pay your mortgage monthly. Most places do. If it's 20 years, okay, for 12 months for 20 years, that's going to be 20 times 12. So you're going to take the number of years times 12 to figure out how many payments you're going to make. So that's going to be a formula as well. I'm going to put in equals whatever this cell is times 12. So that will be the number of payments that I have to make. So 20 years times 12 months is 240 payments. Now, to find the monthly payment, this is going to be a formula, a function that's already set up in Excel. I'm going to hit the equal sign, and I'm going to use the PMT function. It might automatically pop up for you. Hit that. Now, you put in the rate, but the rate that they're asking you is not the annual rate. You have to put in the rate per period. Since this is being paid monthly, we're going to take our annual rate. So I'm going to click on this box here for annual rate, and I'm going to divide that by 12. That will give me the rate per month. Then I'm going to put my comma in there to do the next value. The next value is n periods. That means how many periods. That's this box here. So then I'm going to click on that. And then the PV is our present value, which is our mortgage amount. So I'm going to click on this. And then that's our last amount. The ones that are in these brackets here are optional. We don't need those. I'm just going to hit enter. So our monthly payment under these circumstances is $560.96. If I want to find the total cost that is going to over the whole period of the loan, the total cost of interest, that's going to be the payments, all the payments we make, and then we subtract off the mortgage amount, and what's left is going to be the total amount of interest that we paid. So we're going to set up a formula for that as well. I'm going to highlight the box. I'm going to put in equals. I'm going to choose the amount of my monthly payment, so I click on that box, and then I'm going to do times the number of payments. And then because this box here is considered a negative number because it's a payment, it's looking at that as negative, I think I have to put in a plus here. Let's see if this works. We got to do the opposite of what we think. So I'm going to put in a plus. So instead of subtracting, we're going to add the mortgage amount, and it should be like 49 something if we did it right. Yep, 49,000. That's right. All right. Now, so this is going to be the total amount that we pay in interest on a loan that's $85,000. Now the start date, let's say our first payment is going to be, let's say today. The day that I'm making this video is May 17th, 2016. So I'm going to put in 05/17/16. I want to make sure that this is formatted as a date. It looks like it is, but let's make sure. I'm going to click on my box here, go up to Format Cells, and make sure that it says date. Yep, so that's fine. Now, let's set up, so we have all this information up here now. Let's set up our payment schedule to see what our balance is going to be at the end of each month. So this is going to be our payment. So instead of putting in 1, 2, 3, and doing it 240 times, I'm going to make it easier for you and show you a trick. I'm going to say I'm going to make a formula. I'm going to put in equals, and I click on the box above, and then I want to add 1 to it. I want it to be 1 more than the one before. I'm going to do the same thing. I want the next box to say equal to, and I'm going to click on this, plus 1. Excel will recognize that pattern, so when I copy it, I can paste it all the way down. Let's go out to like, say, 360 in case we go out to like 30 years or something for the mortgage. Let's see, here's 360. Now if I paste it, whoops, I don't think I did that right. I'm going to copy. I'm going to paste it all the way down here. Hold on. I want to copy and then paste. I'm going to hit paste now. and it lists all the numbers without have to actually type all those numbers in there. Just recognize the pattern that you just want to keep adding one all the way down. Now, the first date, we said this is the start date. So I'm going to put in equals here, and whatever I put in here, I want this, I highlight that box, hit enter. I want this date and this date to be the same. Whatever I put in here for the start date should pop up here, which is why I put equals and then highlighted that box. Now, to get the next month, we're going to use a function called eDate. This is going to be another formula. I'm going to hit equals, and I'm going to use the function eDate. You choose the start date, which would be this here. I'm going to hit that. And I'm going to tell it I want to go 1 month out. So then I hit comma 1. And then I hit enter. Now, notice this looks a little weird because we forgot to format this as a date. So I'm going to go back up to format cells. I want to format it as a date, and then it will adjust it for us. There we go. So I want to copy that and let Excel recognize the pattern that we're just going to add 1 to the one before it. I'm going to scroll down, and then I'm going to paste all those cells so that it will put all those dates in. I passed it. There we go. Okay, I'm going to put in paste now, so it added in all those dates. All right, now beginning balance. Oh, before we go on to that, let me just show you. If I change this date to say 4/17, it will adjust it in this column here because this is based on this. So as soon as you change the start date, it will make that adjustment, which is why it's nice. Instead of putting in specific numbers, you base them on the cells, and then you just make some small adjustments. All right, so the beginning balance is always going to be for the first payment in your mortgage amount. So I'm going to put equals. This is where we're starting at because we haven't made a payment yet. The full mortgage amount. I'm going to hit enter. Now the interest, we're going to use a formula for this. If you need to, pause the video and then go back and fix it and then start it back up. I'm going to hit equals, and then the function is IPMT. Now the rate, we want the rate, the N, this one, the end periods, the number of periods, and the present value to always stay the same. The only thing that's going to change is what period is presently, what payment we're making. So when I put this in, I'm going to add a little bit of a twist to it here. When I put in the rate, I want to take this and divide by 12. It's the rate per period. However, I want to make sure when I add this in, you can go back and adjust it. I want to put a little $sign here and a little $sign between the E and the 5 to let Excel know that that value is never going to change. I'm always taking it based off of this here. Okay, now I'm going to hit a comma. This will change. The next period, this period is period 1, so I'm going to click on this box here. The next period will be period 2. The next period after that will be period 3. So this second option here is going to change. So I'm not putting in those $signs. Then I'm going to hit a column or a comma. The number of periods also is not going to change. For every one of these values in this column, I want it to be this value here. So I'm going to hit that, but then I want to tell Excel I want that to stay the same. So I'm going to put a $sign in here, and then between the G and the 5, I'm going to put another $sign, and that will tell Excel not to change those values. Then I do a comma, and the same thing, the mortgage amount will be the last value, our present value, and this also should stay the same. So I'm going to put a $sign in front of the D, and then a $sign in front of the 5. Now when I hit enter, it will tell me the interest for the first month. On the first payment, this is the interest. The difference is going to be the monthly payment minus this. That's what's going to be the principal. So I'm going to set up another formula. This is equal to, I'm going to take this minus this. Now, this H5 is never going to change. I'm always going to take this amount minus whatever is in this column. The next time we do this, I'll take it from this cell. And the next time, I'll take it from this cell. So that second value here is going to change. However, this one, I always want to subtract it from the monthly payment. So I'm going to put a $sign here and put a $sign here. And that's telling Excel not to change that value. You're always subtracting it from the monthly payment. So what goes towards the balance, or what goes towards the principal, is $206.80. Now, the last thing I'm going to take to find my new balance at the end of the first payment, I'm going to take my beginning balance, and I'm actually going to add, even though you would think it's subtraction, this is considered a negative value, so I'm going to add it. I'm going to take my beginning balance and add the principal. And so my mortgage amount after the first payment went from $85,000 to $84,793.20. All right, now my beginning balance for the second month is going to be this value here. So I'm going to choose that, and I'm going to hit enter. We're going to do this twice so Excel recognizes the pattern and we can continue it down for the rest of the payments. For interest, we want to find the interest for the second month. So I'm going to use the IPMT. The rate is always going to be this value divided by 12. So I'm going to take this divided by 12, and I'm going to stick in my $signs here and here to keep that value the same. The period is what's going to change here. Now instead of doing the first period, I'm doing the second period. I'm going to choose that. I'm going to hit comma. The number of periods is going to stay the same. This is out of 240 periods. I'm going to choose that. And since that's always going to be the same, I'm going to put in $signs here and here. And then my last value for this function is PV, my present value, which is the mortgage amount, which also is not going to change. So I have to put in a $sign here and a $sign here. Now I'm done, and I hit enter. So notice the amount of interest that I'm paying in the second month went down a little bit. And that's because I knocked some value off of my mortgage amount. This is my new balance. It's not, the interest isn't off of $85,000 anymore. It's off of this value right here, my new balance. So to get the amount that goes towards my principal, that's going to be another formula. It's going to be equal to my monthly payment, which is never going to change. So that's going to be with the $signs here. Okay, and I'm going to subtract the interest for this month. So notice that the amount in my principal went up. Because I'm paying less interest, the amount that goes towards my balance is going to be greater. So now, last step. To figure out my new balance after the second month, I'm going to take my beginning balance and I'm going to add the principal. And then I hit enter. So my mortgage then went down on the second month from $84,793.20 to $84,585.55. Now let's copy this row right here. And I'm going to paste it all the way down to 240 payments, because that's what this example is giving me, 240 payments. There's 240, and I'm going to paste. And there's my payment schedule. So if I want to see how much my balance is after the 20th payment, there it is right there, 80,000. And if we scroll down, if we did this right, at 240, we should be at a zero balance. So let's scroll all the way down. And there we go, 240. We would have paid it off. So let me show you how you can make some minor adjustments if you're doing a different example. Let's say I change this. My house that I'm buying now is, say, 500,000. So I change this to 500,000. And it automatically changes all those values for me. What if I want my down payment to be 30%? It will automatically adjust those values for me. So what I want you to do, the last thing, is I want you to save this file, because you will use this in future activities for this class, where you're going to put different values in to see what payments are going to be and what your total cost of interest will be. So go ahead and save it. So file, we're going to save as, call it your loan calculator. I'm saving it on my desktop. You can save it wherever. I'm going to hit save. And now just remember, anything in red is a formula. So don't go changing your formula. Just make sure you just put in the values here. Your start date, the number of years, your annual rate. Anything in black are values that you enter. Everything in red is going to be something that we set up a formula for, and it will change it. If you mess up your formula, you're going to have to go back through this video and fix it. All right, if you have any questions, email me. We'll go through it again if you have any questions.